So for what seems like forever, PC gaming and Steam went hand in hand. Valve's marketplace for digital downloads has been around for 15 years or so, and you know what? Hadn't had too much competition at all in the space until game publishers started creating their own game launchers and marketplaces. Blizzard's Battle.net, EA's Origin, Ubisoft's Uplay. Now there's like Discord's service, there's GOG, there's a bunch. All of these things, mainly the ones from the publishers, they all nudge their way into the market by offering various things to the consumer. But for each of these launchers, it just seemed like a hindrance for most players because up until fairly recently, you could still download and play a good amount of their games from Steam anyway. So fine, whatever. Have your own little marketplace.
Yeah, Steam was able to maintain such a strong grip on players, mostly because everyone we know, including us, appreciates that you can have access to all your games in one convenient place instead of hopping from launcher to launcher to launcher in order to play a specific game or even find where it's installed.
Yeah, I don't even...
I forget sometimes.
I know that I own Skyrim on PC, but I don't know where.
Plus, the library on Steam is huge. You can play any number of games from any number of developers or publishers, regardless if they were something as big as Activision all the way down to indie devs. Steam sales are also one of the big common events that people anticipate so they can find something on their wish list at a heavy discount. Me? I'm a Steam sale only guy. You're paying full price, you're a sucker.
Yeah, and it's good for just buying things and never playing them.
Yep, I got about 80 games in my library that I haven't touched and possibly never will. But you know, they're there in case something happens.
We should do a game for $20 that doesn't exist, but it goes on sale for 99% off. No one's gonna play it anyway.
Genius. Anyway, there are, of course, other marketplaces out there, like the ones we just mentioned, but none could ever come close to the amount of user adoption and positive consumer sentiment that Steam was able to grab a hold of, right? Well, maybe not.
Yeah. Back in December of 2018, Epic Games announced that their launcher, which is already used by millions every day to play Fortnite, would also feature a store that did more than just sell games published by Epic. They sought what appeared to be an attempt to take on Steam as the king of PC gaming sales. Now, yeah, it's easy to just brush this idea aside, but Epic had already started things out on the right foot because they have a massive install base. It wasn't like when EA or Ubisoft came out with theirs where it's like, all right, now we got to get people on these. People were already using it.
Yeah, the Epic Launcher, it's basically a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
Not
a virus.
Yeah,
not a virus.
But they tricked everyone into putting this thing on all their computers. And now,
yeah, it would have been different if Fortnite had been released on Steam or something, and then it would have, been harder for them to attract everyone back to the Epic Launcher. Yes, so big install base. Now, if they could just actually convince people to buy games directly from them, they'd actually have a chance at shoving their way into Steam's area of expertise. Now, to be fair, the hard part is still going to be convincing people to ditch Steam for buying things on the Epic Store. They are going to have an uphill battle simply because everyone's familiarity with Steam and its ease of use and all of the stuff you've ever purchased over the last 15 years is all right there.
It's force of habit.
Ready for you to play. And you know what? It's not perfect, but the UI has come a long way, baby.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very easy to use for the most part.
What's not good, and completely off topic here, but the fucking shift tab thing used to work great, and now I don't know what they did. They updated it, and now it's a mess. You just got to alt tab out of the game if you want to use the chat functions at all. Come on, what the fuck, Gabe? Anyways, what Epic was able to do right out of the gate with this whole thing, though, was hatch a plan to get the developers on board immediately by offering a much better deal on game sales than Steam has traditionally offered. Before the Epic Store was launched, Steam, they would take 30% of revenue off the top from any game sold on their platform. So for example, you release an indie game, you're selling a ton of copies, making copies, you're doing well enough that you've sold $100,000 worth of your game. Wow. Well, for the privilege, Steam, they're taking $30,000 off of that. And then you get your cut, which then goes to, paying your employees, paying taxes, and everything else that goes into running a successful game company.
And at $100,000 for a game, it's sorry, Gabe's pulling up in his Harley.
His name is Gabe.
Here I am, boys. It's not a lot for a game company, especially with employees. So we were just using that as a very easy
step one, don't put your fucking office in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Genius.
So let's say $1 million or $10 million. If your game's making $10 million on Steam,
that's $300K for...
No, it's $3 million.
So it's, $3 million. Jesus.
Yeah.
Maths.
Yeah, it's a steep cut, is what we're saying. But it's one that people were willing to deal with so that they could have access to being featured on that marketplace. Epic Games, they launched their store and immediately offered to only take a 12% cut of game sales, which is a huge difference monetarily for developers, whether their game sells 100 copies or 1 million. So back to the same example, $100,000 worth of game sales, the dev would now get $88,000 instead of $70,000. His kid can go to 1 semester of college, potentially.
A state school.
Yeah, community college.
Yeah, so in response to this, Steam, they almost immediately enacted a just emergency slight change in policy, but one that was obviously geared towards massive game devs and publishers, the AAAs. They would still take 30% of the revenue up until the game reached $10 million in sales. Then they would only take 25% until the game reached $50 million in sales. After the $50 million in sales mark, they would take only 20%, so that it's still not getting even close to touching what Epic Games is offering, but it's proof that when someone comes in and shakes up the model for these types of marketplaces, there's going to be reaction. So, I mean, that's all well and good, but there's still a problem of changing perception and habits with the gaming community. That's going to be way harder. Yeah, it feels great that if I buy a game from Epic, the dev will get more money, but
or the publisher. But you know, with it's just like the American business sector. It's all trickled down. The dev eventually gets it. Maybe they get that next game they wanted to work on. But yeah,
maybe the dev gets it. Maybe their CEO pockets it all.
The point is, the people making and releasing the game are getting a better cut.
Yeah. So, but let's be honest though, people are probably still going to use Steam because that's where everything they own is typically located. We are creatures of habits.
Yes.
Epic's answer to this, though, was to start giving out games for free. And not just some random trash tier games. They really wanted to entice people to jump on over. Right from the start, they've actually been giving out some pretty great and highly praised titles like Super Meat Boy, Subnautica, What Remains of Edith Finch, Jackbox Party Pack 4, and starting soon, Axiom Verge. All well-known titles.
Yeah.
Beloved titles.
Yeah, very highly
for
reviewed.
Free.
Just come take them. Take them. So yes, sure. Log in, claim my free game, leave. That's possible, and that's great. I'll play that game for free on their launcher, and then I'll go back to Steam, where I'm sure I'll be able to buy and play whatever game is coming out sometime soon that I'm anticipating, right? That's how it usually is going to work, but
not so fast.
It's not the case anymore.
Not so fast.
So the next step in their plan is to remove access to certain titles from Steam by making them Epic Store exclusives. This is a practice that's previously been looked down upon by gamers when it was done in the past from games from publishers like EA and with their Origin service or Uplay, you know, making those titles exclusive to their platforms well within their rights. People weren't too happy about it.
Or Fallout 76.
Yeah, well within their rights.
I guess,
Probably not too happy about it. But the most notable up until this point for Epic Games exclusives was the final chapter of the Walking Dead Telltale game. That became an Epic Store exclusive, unless you had already pre-purchased the chapters on Steam. Then I guess you get it. But the store page for that was actually delisted after it made the jump to Epic. Now, the somewhat sequel to Super Meat Boy, which is Super Meat Boy Forever, that's also going to be an exclusive for an entire year before it's finally distributed elsewhere. And it was recently announced that The Division 2 would officially be coming to the Epic Store. Although with that one, you can still play it on Uplay, but not anywhere else.
Uplay is my least favorite of all of these launches.
But you can earn the coins and then buy the soundtrack to Uno.
I bought Uno, or no, you gifted it to me, and I've never been able to install it because I'd set up like two-factor authentication like 7 years ago for Uplay, and I just completely forgot it. And then when I tried to email them, they're like, there's a hurricane right now, so our support, and then I just forgot.
So that's a weird one because you can launch that one on Steam, but it launches Uplay alongside of it.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
You can the Just Cause games. There's a lot of Uplay games.
Yeah, they're like
Assassin's Creed
integrated
ones. Like you can buy them on Steam, but it requires you launch Steam to launch the game, but that only launches another launcher, which launches the game.
And Gabe's just counting that money. Why do I need to make a Half-Life 3? If Grand Theft Auto sells $1 billion on my platform, I've just made more money than I know what to do with.
Anyway, all of that, now that we've laid the groundwork, leads us to today and the latest news of this constantly dividing and confusing landscape. Early on Monday, it was announced that yet another highly anticipated title, Metro Exodus, would be doing away with the Steam marketplace entirely and would become exclusively tied to Epic, effective immediately. Deep Silver, the makers of the game, they did respond to the press by saying that the game is only an Epic exclusive for 1 year, so you'll be able to purchase it elsewhere in 2020. This shift also apparently affected Microsoft's release of the game, which was supposed to utilize its Play Anywhere function, which allows users to buy a game once and then play it on both PC and Xbox console. It appears the game will still be available on Xbox and PS4, though, just no cross-PC play for Xbox users as far as we can tell, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, and I actually really like the Xbox crossplay. Sea of Thieves does a great job of it. You can play with your Xbox friends on the PC.
Yeah.
Let's see more of that. We need all these companies to reach across the aisle.
Stop dividing the public.
Yeah.
We need to come together.
We need the gamer union.
In these divisive times, yeah.
Yeah, the gamers union. Let's all play together. Have a little fun.
And I'll be the union boss. Give me that money. I take 30% of all the dues.
Yeah. Anyways, because of this announcement, it actually seems like Valve is finally getting upset and worried about all this. And in a statement regarding Metro Exodus that they released today, they called the move unfair. They said this: "We think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period. We apologize to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through the February 15th release date, but we were only recently informed of the decision and given limited time to let everyone know." And it's probably safe to assume that these games, they're not just switching to Epic for no reason at all. Even with the better revenue cut that Epic offers, you'd think that the people putting out these games would assume they'd do a lot better if they were on multiple marketplaces. Steam is still huge. It's massive. It's where you get a lot of sales for your game, and that's why they get that little taste every time. So the reason that we think is that Epic is offering them something way more than just the ability to sell the game somewhere. They're probably doing
sucking dicks.
They need that heavy on water. There's probably some sort of bonus for making the shift. And in a recent AMA with Epic Games' Tim Sweeney, this was sort of confirmed, although he doesn't really go into details of what the types of deals actually consist of. And he said, among other things, that, quote, "These exclusives don't come to stores for free. They're a result of some combination of marketing commitments, development funding, or revenue guarantees. This all helps developers." So if you're thinking about something like the final chapter of The Walking Dead, it was previously suggested that Epic helped fund the final development of the game when Telltale shut down. So that's
fair.
You can take it, yes.
Yeah, I'll pay for your game, but you're gonna have to give Daddy a taste.
And you have to move to North Carolina. It's not bad. I love it there. Anyways, with Metro Exodus, we'd probably lean more towards Epic signing over some of those marketing commitments and revenue guarantees in order to make that title exclusive. Like, if they're telling Deep Silver, we're going to have your game on the front page of our launcher where every single kid on Earth that plays Fortnite is going to see it when they accidentally click the store button, that's probably pretty good. And it's also like, well, if you don't make $10 million, we'll pay for the rest. Like, I don't know what the deals are, but I bet it would be something like that. Like, you're getting front page access to the Epic Gaming Store.
Yeah, and that's the art of the deal. Regardless of all that, and with the idea that, sure, competition like this is good, and maybe we'll force a change with Valve and Steam to further cut down on the amount of revenue that they take from games so that more money can go into the pockets of the people who make them. That would be nice. It does kind of suck for us, though, because now we have to go... We have 50 goddamn launchers installed on our goddamn computers.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We have to potentially use a different one depending on which game we want to play. It's literally just extra seconds out of our day.
Sure.
But boy, are those seconds frustrating.
Yeah, especially when I can't remember where I put the damn game.
Jeez. If you buy a game like The Division 2 on Epic, is that going to allow you to play with friends who potentially bought it on Uplay? Oh, God.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Oh, you would hope. You would hope that would be the case, but both of them have their own social integrations.
You got your friends list on Epic,
So
and you
who
got your
knows?
friends list on Uplay.
Holy shit.
That's how I think the Uplay thing works with Steam, is because it has to launch it to connect to people.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe there's something going on here with that.
Yeah, for
ima-
like microtransactions too.
Imagine you, like, I have an average computer at this point. It's 3 years old now or whatever. And like, imagine I have to have 2 like RAM intensive launchers operating in the background while I'm trying to play Division on max settings. It's gonna
Have a bad time.
gonna make me very, very upset.
So yeah, we got questions. We definitely want to know how you all feel about this, because the combined consciousness of the gaming community is going to be a bigger indication of how this is all going to play out. What do you, the lowly consumer, think that Epic can eventually, do you think they're going to be able to steal a good chunk of Steam's install base? Or do you think it's going to be an epic fail?
Dab.
Should Valve and Steam be worried at all? Do you think that Epic is doing a good thing here with these exclusives? Let us know in the comments so we can know how to feel.
Yeah, and in the meantime, just take all their
reflect
free
your
games. Just take those free games. They're free.
They're free games.
Take them. Here's what I will say. Their store front it feels very claustrophobic. There's no space. There's no there's no search.
It's designed to feer like a handful of games. They're really
exactly.
going to have to completely change the UI if they want this to be a thing.
Yeah, it'll be a very big, a lot of growing pains for them to get this store to look and feel the way that it should be.
Yeah.
Because, if you get the amount of games that are on Steam, like, it just doesn't work with the current store they have. It's just, it looks like the old Windows block phone thing where it's just like, I'll just select which tile I want to use. It's not really intuitive. Get your free games, though. I got Subnautica. Might try it one day.
See, I paid for that shit like an idiot.
Yeah. All you have to do is wait till people get desperate enough to make a bad deal.
Yeah.
Anyways, check out the episodes from this weekend. MoviePass literally just ripped the crust of the earth
Not dead yet.
out of the way and rose from its grave. So we'll talk about that over on News Dump, and then we did a whole episode on that weirdo Roger Stone. Check those out. Head over to the Patreon, drop a few coins, click the member button, do whatever you want. It's your week.
Pay for our golden parachutes.
Thank you. Now we're going to go sign to Epic Games. This show's only available on the Epic Games launcher.
I'm calling all Epic gamers.
I mean, I'll do it for a
Internet
price.
today needs your help.
There's a price, Epic.